This is my back workout that I did. Here are a few poses, and I started off with deadlifts. This is just a warm-up set with 220 kilos, and I did 2 sets with 240 kilos at 3 reps, and I ate quite a lot of food at this point, so using a belt was really uncomfortable. So next time I do this, I'm probably not going to use a belt. It should be okay. I've done 230 3x3 with no belt, so I should be able to do this. But the third set, I only got 2 reps. The first rep moved okay, but the second rep, I'm not going to lie, I farted throughout the entirety of the rep. And yeah, I felt really embarrassed because I had my music blasting. I didn't know if anyone could hear, so I just felt super embarrassed. I tried the third rep and then I just sort of gave up out of embarrassment, I can't lie. But yeah, here I am sharing it with the world, so yeah, you're welcome. But yeah, here I'm using a Texas deadlift bar, which is longer and thinner than a usual bar, so it has more bend in it. And the reason for this is so that the weights leave the ground when you're higher up in the deadlift. So the higher up you are in the deadlift, the stronger you are. And yeah, this was a back off set. I did 3 reps with 220 kilos, no belt, and it felt really comfortable. So I might try not using a belt next time, just build up that core strength. And then I moved into bodyweight pull-ups to start off with. I did 20 reps here, which I really find help prime the muscles and the nervous system when I move into my weighted pull-ups. And for my weighted pull-ups, I started off with 60 kilos and I did 4 okay reps, and then the 5th rep was kind of questionable, but yeah, they moved okay, I guess. And I find the hardest part about weighted pull-ups is trying to minimize your leg movement, and I always pause between each rep just momentarily, just so I'm not using the stretch and the rebound to sort of help into the next rep, which obviously will make it harder because I'm having to pull from the weakest position, which is the stretched position. Then for my second set, I did 3 reps, and then I moved into the drop set of hell or heaven, depending on your perspective. So yeah, started off with 60, now I'm down to 40 kilos, and I did 5 reps here, which moved really well compared to the 60. And then I did another drop set after this down to 20, and then after that down to body weight. And as I decrease in weight, the pull-ups get easier and easier. So by the time I'm doing the bodyweight pull-ups, it feels like I'm sort of flying through the air. And it's important to try and focus on being explosive on the way up and then controlling the way down. And we don't want to use momentum or kipping or nothing like that. We really want to engage the muscle for the movement. And obviously the more the muscle is engaged, the more it has to adapt. The more it adapts, the stronger it becomes. And it's kind of like doing a bench press pause in how you pause at the bottom of each rep. It just sort of makes it harder when you're in the weakest position, which is the stretched position. So the more you can get used to being in the stretched position, the weaker position, and the stronger you get in that position, the stronger you'll be overall. Then I moved on to axle bar shrugs, and this axle bar is actually thicker than the one that I used last week. So it's even harder to hold on to. But yeah, I got a massive pump in my forearms and my thumb muscle there. And then I moved on to single arm rear delt flies with a cuff, and the cable, I put it at shoulder height, and I take a step forwards so that the cable's behind me, which emphasizes the stretch. It's kind of similar to the Jeff Nippard pec deck rear delt fly. And then I did cable pullovers with an easy curl bar. You want your upper body to be parallel to the cable, and you want to lock your elbows in position. And the good thing about this exercise is it's similar to the bench press cue, where you're told to bend the bar, which engages the lats, and that's sort of what you're doing in that exercise. And then I moved on to seated dumbbell curls with 25 and then 27.5 kilos. I like to do them seated just to minimize movement, minimize momentum. And I start in a hammer curl position, then rotate the wrist as I come up, because the bicep actually rotates the wrist. So if you flex your bicep in a hammer curl position, then rotate your wrist palms up, you'll feel your bicep further contract. And then I was doing these wrist curls with a fat grip, which helps open up the fingers. I like to do these facing away. I see Sam Sulek and arm wrestlers do it facing the cable, but I feel like I get a better stretch when I face away. These are quite an odd looking exercise, so people will look at you weirdly, to be honest. And then I was just messing about with a pinch block here.
No, this is going to fly up, watch. Yeah. I reckon you can do.
That sort of works your grip strength, your pinching grip strength, and your thumb muscles and stuff. I just did a few sets, 10-second hold each. And then I finished off with reverse curls, and I sort of hold it at the top for a second. And yeah, thanks for watching.